Hey, y'all, it's Crystal from Beautifully Broken Crafts, Hauls, and more, and I have a craft video for you guys today. So this is going to be like a 3 and 3. So I did 3 Dollar Tree DIYs and 3 thrift flips. So the first one we're going to do is a Dollar Tree DIY. I took these two, I guess we'll call them crates from the Dollar Tree that have the 4 sections, and I just paint both of them with some watered down Waverly Truffle chalk paint, and then I will use a paper towel to wipe off the excess of it to make it like a faux stain. So I'm going to do that to the inside and the outside, including the bottoms of these along with the sides of it. Once these have all dried, I'm just taking a Dollar Tree sanding block and I am sanding down any rough edges that I noticed that would leave splinters if you touched them. And I just gave that a quick sanding, and then I'm taking this black paint pen I have in my craft stash, and I am just painting with this paint pen marker, whatever you want to call it. The what would you guys call that? Like the trim of each individual square there, just to give it some dimension. Next, I am taking this peel and stick wallpaper I have on hand, also from Dollar Tree, and I just took the side of those crates and traced it. And I did trace each side individually by itself, because you know how Dollar Tree wood products can be. They're not always the same size, and they can be wonky sometimes. So I just did that, and I'm going to take these pieces of wallpaper and stick them to all 4 sides of the outside of these crates, and then I will use my sanding block to smooth down any of the edges and sides, and to get off, excuse me, any excess that might be hanging over the top or the bottom. Next, I'm taking 6 1-gallon paint stirrer sticks, and I am going to paint all of them front, back, sides, bottom and all, in the Waverly chalk paint and ink, and I gave these each 2 coats of paint. Once those paint sticks have dried, now it's time to assemble all of this. So I'm going to take 2 of the paint stir sticks and I'm going to line them up at the top. I'm going to secure them with a dot of wood glue and 2 dots of hot glue for permanent. Sorry, the wood glue is for permanent hold, the hot glue is for an instant hold. So I'm going to put one on one side, as you can see here, and then I'm going to use my staple gun to reinforce that. And then I'm going to flip it right there, and then I'm going to put another paint stir stick on that corner on the back of it, I guess you could say. It's going to be easier for you guys to watch what I'm doing than me explain it. But you can see there how it's kind of like a triangle shape around the corners of that crate. And then I'm just hammering in the staples because they were sticking out a little bit. So I'm going to do that on both of the back sides of this crate. Now that those were secured on there and I have the staples all hammered in all the way through, it was time for me to decide how I wanted to connect that second crate to this. So I just used the 2 other paint stir sticks I have, and I attached them with the wood glue, hot glue, and staples from the staple gun at an angle to the legs of the back of the stand that I'm creating, and then I will secure the front crate at using the same materials, hot glue, wood glue, and the staples. And you guys will see how I get this all lined up, and I use my level also to make sure it all stays level as well. As you can see, I took the right leg off, which was easy to just pry right off. I didn't have to use any tools to do so, just because it wasn't leveling out. So I attached the left leg first to the bottom crate, and then I'm going to reattach the right one. That way it is all level the way it should be. Here you see me just reinforcing those back blades by stapling them together on the seams a little bit, and I'll add some not hot glue, wood glue also, just so it's more secure. I do go over those staples with a coat of the black ink chalk paint that I use to paint those wooden sticks with. And once it's all dry, you guys will see it set up with all my nail polish and artificial nails and nail glue in it. And there it is, all completed. It didn't turn out too bad. It's not my most favorite project ever, but it's also not my least, and it's serving its purpose. And now we're going to move into the second DIY, which is thrift flip number 1. I had this hot bath 25-cent shelf sign in my craft stash for years now. I had purchased it from Goodwill for $3.99. As you see in that corner there, I had to spackle it because it had a little split of wood there. So once that dried, I sanded it down, and I just added 2 extra nails on the top and 2 on each of the sides to reinforce this because it was a little wobbly. So once I sanded all of that and wipe it all down with a damp cloth to get the sand off, I'm going to tape off all of the natural wood that's still showing because I want to keep that. And then I am going to paint this with 1 thick coat of the ink Waverly chalk paint, which is black. And then I'm going to go over it with 2 coats of white Waverly chalk paint. And I did that because if I had just used regular white chalk paint over that hot bath 25-cent verbiage, it would take even more coats of the white than it just 2 coats to cover all that. So just easier to go over it with 1 coat of black first and then go from there. Once all that paint had dried, I just took my sanding sponge and I decided to rough up the edges to give it more dimension. I'm going to warn you guys now, I do not end up keeping this white after I peel off the painter's tape and get on the accessories that you guys will see here shortly. It just felt like it needed to go back to black for the accessories to pop out more, but you guys can tell me in the comments which color you preferred it as, the white or the black. Also, I did seal this when it was white with the white Waverly wax just to protect the paint. That way it didn't chip off, but this ends up being all for nothing in the long run, but it's okay. I'd rather it be protected than not. Once that dried, I did just measure out a piece of twine just by laying it across there, as you guys just saw, and then I'm going to thread one of my doll needles on there, and we are going to string up some of the wooden beads. I'm not going to paint them or anything. I'm just going to leave them in the natural wood. You will see me fiddle with them a few times because I couldn't make up my mind what color beads I wanted on here, but I ended up just using all natural colored beads. Now I'm peeling off all that painter's tape, and then I am going to secure this twine with the beads on it with some hot glue in the corners of this shelf. You won't be able to see it once it's done, because once I get it all hot glued down, and it dries, I will go over the hot glue with the white paint. And when I do redo this in black, which I did off camera, you can't even tell that that's hot glued on there. Good Lord, I still can't speak, y'all. What else is new? I wanted to be able to hang something from the face of this shelf, so I'm just using 3 gold mug hangers, hooks, and I'm going to drill 3 of them to the front of this, well, screw 3 of them to the front of this. So I did use my tape measure just to space them out, make sure I found the middle first, and then I think I did it like 1.5 inches in from each side panel there, and then I marked them all with my pencil, and then I will mark them with a little dot with one of those hooks, and then I will do a pilot hole with my drill. That way the wood doesn't split as I twist those little hooks into here. You also see me using the lighter there just to get out any of the frays from the twine, and there that is completed in white, and there it is black, hanging on the wall in my living room. And the next DIY will be those succulent geraniums that you see hanging from there. But let me know what you guys think. This is honestly one of my favorite project from this video today. So now we're going to move into another Dollar Tree DIY. Super easy. I'm just taking 2 of these geranium globes you get from Dollar Tree, and I am going to clean them real quick with a lint-free cloth that has some rubbing alcohol on it, just to get any dirt and grime off of these that might be on there. And then I'm going to fill the base of both of these with some pink glass gravel rocks I had from Dollar Tree, along with some white stones I had from Target. And then I will paint the little, I'm about to do it right now, the little what do you call those things, hanger things, black, just to give it a little bit of contrast. I had to do 2 coats of black on those because they are plastic. And then I will fill these geraniums, and then you will see me fiddling with the succulents as well until I decide on which ones I want in there. And you're going to see me on my daughter's phone with my ex-sister-in-law here shortly as well. I apologize, but you know, it's life. Did you see Peyton came in the room with her phone and then just had to touch those stones because she was saying they're so pretty? Now that those are all done, this is then a couple days later. I'm just going to take some of the jute twine I had from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to pull out maybe 18 inches, and I'm just going to do that 3 times for one of these and do a lark's head knot, which is just when you fold this in half, you put that loop that you made with the half, and then you pull the string through just like that. So I do that on this one, and then I'm going to do the other terranium slightly shorter, so we'll say maybe 12 inches long, and do the same thing. I only did 3 jute twine pieces just to make sure it could hold the weight of these. And then I end up trimming them once I hang them up, but you guys will see the finished product here shortly. And there they are hanging from that shelf I put together as I showed you guys, and there's a close-up of them. I wanted them to hang at 2 different levels on purpose. So now we're going to move into the next DIY, which is going to be another thrift flip. This came from Marcus when I had went over there a few weeks ago to go through all that thrifted stuff. And this is the red Buddha. I did not like the color of this at all, so I am going to give him 2 good coats of white Waverly chalk paint. And then once that all cures and dries, the next day I go over it with Folk Art Metallic Inca Gold twice, and then I will also go over it with the Antique Waverly Wax a couple times, just so you can really see the definition of all the different engraves of this little Buddha guy. The brush I used to do the Inca Gold and the Waverly wax, Antique Wax is just one of these chippy stenciling brushes you can get in a pack, I think of 3 from Dollar Tree, because I didn't want it to be totally perfect. And I didn't change, I don't really know if I changed paint brushes between the gold and the Waverly Wax or not. We'll see together. Here you just see me wiping off the excess where there would be big globs of that antique wax with a paper towel because it wasn't necessary. There he is all completed. He looks so much better this color than he did in that god-awful red it was before. And now we're going to move into another Dollar Tree DIY. This is a super simple one. I picked up the sign from Dollar Tree. It says reality called, so I hung up. I love the sign. However, with the white on white that it was just too lackluster. So I'm going to take these, I think they're calling these like pearl adhesives or something like that, and I'm just taking the strips and I'm going to put these on the border of the frame here, as you guys can see. And once I get all of these dots on here, I am going to go over them and just this front piece of the frame with my Waverly ink black chalk paint, and it's only going to be in one coat. Once that coat dries, I will then use my white Waverly chalk paint and one of those chippy stenciling brushes from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to dry brush over those dots. That way you can actually really see them pop out. And then I will go over that white with just a little bit of that Inca gold as well, just to give it a little bit more definition. And here is that one all completed. I think it looks much better with that frame being painted a different color than the insert. And now we're going to be moving into the last one. This is another thrift flip. I got this box also from Marcus's thrift haul, and it houses 6 sleeves of 12 photos inside. Now, while I like this box, the cherry wood was not my style, so I'm going to give this a total of 3 coats of the white Waverly chalk paint, and I'm also going to paint the remainder of those adhesive pearls with 3 coats of white Waverly chalk paint as well. Once all the paint has dried, I am going to accessorize the front of this box with one of the rub-on transfers. I just got it from Dollar Tree that says family, along with one of these laser cutouts that says forever. And I'm going to use a little squeegee tool you can get from Dollar Tree to rub down that rub-on transfer that says family. And then I will use the original super glue gel to adhere that forever to the front of this. Here you see me using this pink little needlepoint thing I had on hand from Dollar Tree, and I'm just using that to scrape off any excess super glue while it's still wet, so it doesn't look like you can see it seeping out. Now that those little pearls are dry, which I think I didn't record the footage, or if I did, I lost it somehow. I did go over those beads with the Waverly Antique Wax, just to make them look like wood beads almost, and I just stick these on the top frame of this box. And then I'm going to use these to frame around the family forever as well. Some of these I did have to put a little bit of a little dab of super glue gel on the back of, because they did not want to stick all the way, probably because of that excess paint on there. But in the long run, this all works out. Next, I'm going to seal all this in with that Waverly white wax. That way the paint won't chip off of this, and those beads and the other accessories will have some extra stability. And here it is all completed, and I just put a picture in the top of myself with my kids from when we were all younger. And then I set it here just for staging purposes. So there is the front of this. There is the top of it with that photo of the kids and I. And there's a shot of the inside with those sleeves. I didn't paint the inside of this at all. So you guys, that's it for this video. Let me know which one you guys like the best. And if you're new here, welcome. I hope you guys choose to stick around and subscribe and become part of this chaotic family. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. I love you all so much for spending some time with me yet again today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Love you all so much.